All right, we're live here, Warren?
Yes.
All right, I guess we're live. So it's Friday, and we're back with our weekly podcast. Good to be back, and we've got a full house here. This whole, I don't know if I ever said this thing is based off of ESPN Game Day. So I don't know if we got a lot of sports fans up here, but...
Maybe not today.
Yeah, so, anyway, I'll make sure everyone's introduced, who we've got here. Well, let yourselves introduce yourselves. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Brian Hammond. I am the Director of Driver Training.
All right.
Hey, I'm Bob Twining, the CIO in IT.
And Bob's back for 2 weeks in a row here.
2 weeks in a row.
Oh, boy. All right. Who are you?
Brad. That's Brad. I'm Jelaine. There are some new drivers out there that, just went through our orientation, so this is kind of our thing every Friday, so hopefully we do well and you keep on watching us. So.
And her title is the boss's boss.
Yeah, it is on my card.
Yeah, so it's official.
Yeah.
I'm Jessie. I'm the Chief People Officer. I was waiting for Brad to comment there, but
yeah.
So I'm Jessie Burnett, the Chief People Officer. So I work with recruiting and with HR.
And Jesse is usually over in Sioux City, where she lives, and managing the group over there. But so we've got her on today's podcast, and anytime she joins us, I don't watch the Howard Stern show much, but
Not sure I like where this is going.
Okay. I have no idea where this is going, but
no, whatever the lady is, I forget her name, who's on the Howard Stern show. I don't know if she's still on there. Jesse always reminds me of that lady, just how she sounds.
Is she the lady who keeps Howard Stern in line? And
Yes.
are you?
Oh.
Or is that the analogy to you?
I don't know. I'm not slamming myself. I don't.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I am unintentionally, but
little
no. I don't know.
All right.
I'm going to have to go listen to the show now.
Any Howard Stern
She
fans,
can keep-
you know who I'm talking
She
about.
can keep guys in line. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for
Yes.
sure. All right. Well, today's podcast, we've got a variety of topics. We've got some questions that drivers have sent in that we're going to be answering, and some updates on some different things. It's not going to be a real long podcast, so I'm going to start off with Brian. Brian's got a few things that he'd like to share with the group.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you. We had asked for drivers in the fleet to raise their hand to become a driver trainer, certified driver trainer at Hirschbach, and we had a phenomenal response. I had over 200 folks that had raised their hands and said they wanted to train. So I'm a department of one right now, so I'm just working through those details. If you don't hear from me immediately, it's just because I'm working through the entire group. So that was message number one. And then the second is I am looking for CDL instructors. We are starting our own in-house program, and I have a need for probably half a dozen folks that want to teach new drivers the CDL requirements, bring them up to speed, help them develop their skill set so that they can test with the state. And that's really the only reason I wanted to be a part of this. Say thank you and give a shout out looking for instructors.
Great, and maybe just sort of timeline, Brian, as far as the school coming on board and so forth?
Our program is going to go live mid-April. We're already bringing in students that have a CDL starting February 15th, and as of Monday, I'll be doing back-to-back sessions each week over probably the next month to train up our certified driver trainers.
Yeah, good. And how many trainers will you be starting with the initial phase?
The first piece of this is 12 per class, and we're starting to get those stacked up right now. We need probably 50 to 60 driver trainers just to meet the demand. There is a demand that for drivers joining the organization that don't have experience.
Good, and just to remind everyone, there's some good training programs out there, and there's some bad training programs out there. This is going to be a great training program.
Absolutely.
And Brian has managed a great training program for, I don't know, quite a number of years, 17 years or so prior to being here. So again, we're thrilled to have you on board here, Brian, and we're expecting some great things from this program. Brian's history has shown that the drivers that have been produced through his programs have been safer and had better retention rates. And so we're excited to get some real high-quality drivers that we produce ourselves here at Hirschbach, as opposed to hiring experienced drivers out there.
No, all good. It's all good stuff. It's exciting.
Yeah, well, good. Well, thanks, Brian. And next, we'll, excuse me, we'll shift over to Bob. Bob, you got a few topics. I think which one do you want to start with, Bob?
Well, I think it would be appropriate for me to start with the outage we had last night. We did send out a notification to all of you this morning, and so you probably have seen that, but I thought it was important enough, and as Brad did, that we address it here just at least briefly. We had an outage last night with the computer systems that lasted, with a lot of the computer system. It wasn't the entire system, but unfortunately, the parts that support you were affected. The phone system, or our users, our folks that work at night, their ability to use the phone system. The app was, the mobile app that you use and depend on was affected. You know, we get measured and graded in IT on our uptime, and we don't have a lot of downtime. We would like to, our goal is always to have zero downtime. Last night was a big disappointment for all of us, and I just wanted to apologize for that to all of you, because you're, as I said in the notification this morning, you're our customer, and we don't like to let our customers down. So just rest assured, we did find the root cause of the problem overnight. It's been corrected, and it should not happen again.
Bob, I do want to comment, though, and just say that the uptime that our IT department has now is so much better than I think it was a few years ago, and it seemed every few months there was an outage for several hours, and now it's very rare that happens. And so I think I appreciate you guys doing everything you're doing to keep us up and going.
Thanks, Jess. I appreciate that. And the statistics, and of course we track that. Statistically, that's exactly right. The uptime for last year was better than the year before, and 2019 was better than 2018, and so on. But again, our goal is zero. So, next topic that I wanted to hit on was Copilot. We talked about it some last week. And just to give you an update on where we're at, we have received a new version of the tablet app. Warren has been busily testing that. There is one thing that we need either clarification or a tweak on from the software company that actually writes the app. So we're working with them, but we expect to have that out to you by the middle of next week. And there will be some instructions that come with it. It's not, the interface is not that much different. In fact, really only one significant change for you, but we'll warn you of that before it comes, and then what that change is with some detailed instructions. But it's pretty minor. It's really just mostly fixing things that needed tweaking, because as some of you know, software is never perfect. You're always improving on software. Another comment about the tablet app and navigation in particular with Copilot. We need you to continue yet. I asked last week that you only use navigation on your tablet, and that's still the case. But we're getting closer to where we can recommend it on the phones as well. Remember now, as we said last week, that you can use, or you should not, but if you do try to use navigation on the phones, it'll look like it's working, but it's unreliable. So we ask that you use only the tablet for navigation for now.
I would just jump in and say, even when it does work on the phone, I'd certainly recommend that you continue to use the tablet with it having its nice fixed holder there and much larger screen.
And the other thing is the hours of service. I mean, we do have the display of your hours of service is, to Brad's point, it's just a larger display, and it's easier to see.
One of the things I would say along these lines, Bob and I had a call with Transflow yesterday, I
Mhm.
guess. But one of the things that Bob's working on with Transflow is to integrate the launching, I'll call it, of the route with your dispatch. Right now, you've got to do it a bit more manually as far as kicking it off. And so one of the future enhancements that Bob's team and Transflow are working together on is to save a few steps and have that be a little bit more of an automatic process, turning on the turn-by-turn directions for you.
Thanks, Brad. Yep. As far as the phone apps are concerned, they are a little bit older, not quite as up-to-date as the in-cab or the tablet app. We expect to get new versions of the phone apps, and I say plural because if you have an Apple phone, that app is slightly different than the phone app for the Android phone. But we expect to have those by early next week. We'll test them. So they'll be a few days, maybe as much as a week behind the new tablet app. And we'll keep you up to date on that with notifications through the app as well. One more thing on navigation. We have had a few instances of drivers, West Coast drivers, that are running from the West Coast to Denver, is the example that's most often brought up to me. And unfortunately, there's been a conflict between what your driver managers have told you verbally when you talk to them and what the Copilot navigation has been giving you. So your DMs have been telling you, if you're going, say, from LA to Denver, that you should take the southern route on I-40 and avoid I-70. Unfortunately, Copilot was not aware of that's what we wanted. So it was routing every driver that was driving that particular route onto I-70, even though we didn't want you to do it. So a couple of things. One is we're updating Copilot today, so you will be directed to not use I-70. You won't get a navigation route to I-70 or using I-70. The other thing I would mention is if you get verbal directions from your DM, follow those regardless of what Copilot is telling you. They should be the same, and we're making it so that it will be the same. But human intervention from your DM is always the priority.
As far as I-70 goes, or just chaining up, at Hirschbach, your safety, the safety of those around you is the most important. And if it's so bad that you got to chain up, we don't want you to be on that road, basically. We want you to stop and not have to go through that, and certainly keeping you off I-70 during the wintertime will reduce the amount of situations where you're going to be having to stop and wait for conditions to improve and so forth.
Yeah, I think that's all I had, Brad.
Okay, all right, well, sounds good. Well, maybe we'll get on to some of the questions that have been sent in. I think maybe the first one to start with is our Lytx cameras that we've got in the trucks. There's a new light, I guess, out there. You guys heard about this new light?
I heard about the blue light.
The blue light.
The new blue light.
Yeah,
Yes.
blue light. So there's a new blue light that's on the Lytx camera, and we didn't know about it until you told us about it. So there's an upgrade that came from Lytx, and I think you're going to like it. It is the privacy mode is what it is. So it is telling you that the camera is off. The inward-facing camera is off. And that blue light goes on when the vehicle is off or when it's in the auxiliary mode, one click of the key. If the parking brake is on, or if the truck has been idling for a certain period of time. So those are the triggers. So that new blue light there is just telling you that the inside camera is off.
I think that's great.
Yeah, there are. I've got their code on their other lights. You guys might know these, but just when the device is turning on, you're going to see a green light that's sweeping back and forth. That just means it's booting up. Green light's in the center position. That means that the device is ready. It's on, and on and recording. It only has, just to refresh everyone's memory, it's just 2 minutes of recording is all that's being done. So the camera, when it is on and green, it's just continually re-recording over itself, and there's only 2 minutes of time that is actually there at any one time. And of course, if there's a triggering event, hard brake event, you take a turn too quick, something like that, that causes weaving in the lanes, all these different triggering events, it'll then send us about a 15-second clip of that triggering event. And when it's doing that, you're going to get the red light. So no one wants the red light out there. So
Brad, have you ever had the red light?
I have, driving out there. I've had it a couple times. Yeah, a couple times.
Just
A couple times.
and you can trigger it yourself too. So if you have an incident that happens,
Oh, yeah. If
trigger it.
you can manually turn the thing on if, something happened in front of you that you wanted to record and the camera didn't capture it or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. And that's that let's see. Oh, yellow light. I didn't see the yellow. Yellow means there's an error if you get a yellow. So those are our colors. And in that case, you can do what's called a force check-in, which is basically hold the blue button for 10 seconds. All lights will go from blinking to solid green one by one, and that's sort of a manual reset.
Good to know.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay. All right, next. We've got some more questions here. Let's see. Well, COVID. Should we talk about COVID? I'm sick of COVID. Actually, I'll tell you a story about COVID. I went ahead and had an antibody test done a few days ago. I never tested positive for COVID. I've had, I don't know what I've had, 6 or 8 COVID tests over time. Never had COVID that I knew of. Anyway, I got the antibody test a few days ago. It turns out I got the antibodies. So I'm golden. I got the golden ticket. So I'm good.
There's something wrong with that, Brad.
There really is.
For some of us that, we've got antibodies, but
Actually
we earned
went
them.
through it. Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Well, and the crazy thing is, I didn't have it, so I don't have the antibodies. So
I guess we were maybe
I don't know.
maybe we're having a fight that time or something like that. I'm not sure what happened.
That's crazy.
we were staying 6 feet away for some reason.
Not sure what happened there that time,
Yeah.
Brad, but anyway. Well,
I was actually pretty excited. Like, okay, I might already be done. That would have been nice.
Yeah,
No,
bit of a
still have
disappointment.
to watch out.
Yep. Well, be safe.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm golden there, but anyway, we're still we're all tired of COVID, tired of winter too. So, but we'll get both of those behind us here at some point this year. As far as COVID, one of the questions that was asked is really about essential workers and an update on vaccines and what's going on and so forth. And so, I got something here from the CDC. We are essential workers. The transportation industry is labeled as essential workers. But what they've done is they've split the essential workers between frontline essential workers and other essential workers. We're in the other. And the frontline essential workers, you've heard this, are called the 1B group. So all essential workers are in group 1. 1A is the healthcare workers primarily, and those that are over 75, I believe. And then 1B is those over 65 plus the frontline essential workers. And there's an estimated 30 million essential frontline workers, and they include like the people in the meatpacking plants that are customers. They include first responders like firefighters and policemen, teachers. Those are some of the grocery store workers. Those are some of the 30 million people in 1B. So that group around the country is in the process of being vaccinated as we speak. We're up next. When that happens, there's roughly 87 million people in the other essential worker bucket, transportation, logistics, food service, finance, legal. I don't know why they got the lawyers in this thing. I would not call lawyers essential, but
Just ours,
Yeah.
our lawyer.
Okay.
BK, yeah,
BK.
exactly.
You are.
BK is
BK,
essential.
Rob.
so, if I were to take my best educated guess, I would think hopefully, maybe optimistically, early March, maybe realistically early April. I don't know. That's my guess as to when we're going to be able to start getting shots in the arm for the transportation. But stay tuned. We'll see. We'll keep you updated.
Yeah, and Christy with our COVID hotline, she's keeping a pretty good pulse on this too, keeping us informed of, when can we get vaccinated and how many vaccinations are out there. And she'll be working with our different offices to get something set up in the offices as well as for our drivers. And so once it's available, if you need help getting a vaccination, Christy will be available to help anybody with finding a resource close to where you are or close to home. So we're working on that plan as well.
Yeah, rest assured, anything we can do to get the vaccines out to the Hirschbach team members and their family members, we're going to do everything we can to help expedite that process any way we possibly can. So, good. Let's see. Let's see what else we got here. We got some terminal questions. Several drivers are asking for some updates on Monmouth and Kansas City, East Dubuque. So I'll give you some updates there, starting with Kansas City. Kansas City, our newest terminal. We take possession middle of February. It'll be a drop lot initially for you to find a safe place to park while we're doing some renovations in the office and hiring mechanics and staff. We're targeting April 1st as the time where the driver amenities and the shop and so forth would be open for business there.
Yeah,
Pretty
I think we
exciting.
have laundry facilities, there's driver nap rooms, there's a driver's lounge. I think the only thing we don't have that we have in most other locations would be the pet kennels. So I
Yeah.
don't think there's a room for that right now, but maybe in the plans later.
Yeah, and no workout facility either.
Dang
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a smaller facility, at least it will be able to work on plenty of trucks and trailers there, and it's a good-sized drop yard. The non-shop part of the office isn't really a very large facility. We are not purchasing this facility. We're going to be leasing the facility, and we'll see how things go. Martin Transport was leasing this facility at one point. They liked the area so much that they went ahead and built their own facility just down the road. That could be something that happens over time. We'll see. Stay tuned.
Can we tell them where the location is?
Sure. It's right off of 435, so it's a fantastic location. And you probably are aware of this intersection. You've got a very large Swift training facility on one side of the road, a very large FedEx facility on the other side of the road. The Peterbilt dealers there, the Kenworth dealers there, the utility dealers there, the carrier dealers there. They're all right there, all grouped together right by where our facility will be located. In fact, it's the Peterbilt / utility dealer that owns this terminal that we're leasing from. Yeah.
I believe it's the Wood End exit.
Wood End exit.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, good.
It's
And
very
that's
close to our cold storage facility we pull out of quite a bit.
Yeah, it's in Edwardsville. It's a mile away from the Edwardsville cold storage facility where we're loading both a lot of Tyson and Smithfield product out of. So really nice location, and I'm confident you'll find it to be a very nice facility, and I think a fantastic location. We've got a ton of drivers going through that area, and one of the things as we're adding more terminals, driver parking is such a premium out there, excuse me. We really, another benefit, being able to see our equipment, touch our equipment, is one huge benefit. More places to train and bring on drivers, and then safe parking places for Hirschbach drivers is something else that we're excited to
Do you know
offer.
how many spaces there will be?
Between trucks and trailers, I think we can fit roughly like 100 trailers and maybe
Wow. So slightly bigger than Denton.
Yeah, there's more, yeah,
It's
yeah.
good size, wow.
Actually, yeah, the land is bigger than Denton, the facility is smaller than Denton, yeah,
The important stuff.
yeah. So moving on to other facilities, let's talk about Dubuque. We're in Dubuque, or East Dubuque. I get, there are, for years, we, as this organization started growing in 2013, 14, during that time period, we really everything was here in East Dubuque. For those of you that weren't around back then, everything we did here was in the Dubuque area anyway, was in, well, actually, we didn't, I guess we had Springfield. Monmouth didn't
Yeah, Sioux
exist back
City.
then. Denton didn't exist.
Sioux
We had
City.
Sioux City, we had East Dubuque and Springfield. Go back to 2013, that was our footprint. And everything in the Dubuque area was here in East Dubuque. In fact, we didn't even have this building at the time that we're talking to you from, this, we call it the Vroom building, but where we do the training. It was just the other building. So if you can imagine all the
And a couple trailers.
couple trailers.
People were, I think our driver services or our driver lounge
Yeah,
was in a
you're-
trailer.
yeah, you're
We're gonna
right.
go way back.
Yeah, you're right, we did. Yep, that nasty trailer. So anyway, as we started to grow, we outgrew the facility in East Dubuque. We got this other building here in East Dubuque. We ended up getting the other office over in Dubuque. And so we're kind of spread out, between these two locations here. And, that was like 6 years ago, I think, roughly, that we moved over to Dubuque. And I was thinking that might be for like 3 years or something like that we would be separated. Always wanted to get it all back together. And, well, it hasn't happened yet, but we still have that desire, and we'd like to make a decision this year on making that happen. So what that means is we've got to build something. So the Kerper facility will likely go away, and we'd either expand here in East Dubuque by building something over here and acquiring more land that's adjacent to this property, or we'd build something over somewhere else in Dubuque or what have you. So we're evaluating different options. Once we make a decision, it's probably going to take a couple years anyway, but just wanted to give folks an update on that. There will be some changes that happen this year to East Dubuque. Once in the spring, we're going to change the entrance of where you come into East Dubuque. You'll come in over by the training facility that we're talking to you out of now, and you'll exit at the same place that you exit over by the shop. But that current entrance that you've got right now will be not an entrance in the future. And we're going to have controlled access onto our facility, not just here, but at all of our facilities, with safety inspection lanes. And so Nick and his team, they're kind of working on that somewhat as we speak. Monmouth.
But that will also control where the trailers get parked in the East Dubuque lot. I know there's been a lot of complaints about, we can't monitor how everybody's parking, and sometimes it creates some tight situations that problem will go away.
Yeah, the flow of traffic, I hate pulling into this yard myself when I'm out driving. I'm not comfortable operating out there, frankly. So we're going to get that changed around and make it a safer situation out here.
When I was pulling in, I was driving by going, oh my gosh, how do they park? I don't understand how you pull out. But
We were just watching one. It was a little tight. So
Yep.
I didn't see anything get knocked into, but
That's
it was tight.
that's good.
All right, so that's the update in the Dubuque area. Also Monmouth, some question on the Monmouth Terminal. We've got some plans that we're going to do this year down in Monmouth. We'll have we're going to put more concrete down. The surface will become much nicer. We're going to add a trailer truck wash, so you can drive through and get the outside of your truck and trailer washed. We're going to be creating some nice driver amenities. The restaurant, Granny's, is going to move from its current location over to where the tractor shop is. There'll be a new facility that'll be constructed next to the tractor shop. That's where you'll be able to drive through and have the tractor and trailer washed. That's where the driver amenities will be. So those are some highlights that are coming in Monmouth this year.
Those are exciting. I think I've heard a lot of buzz about Granny's. I don't know, people love the food, they love
Yeah.
her, they love the convenience, and so I've heard a lot of buzz about that.
Yeah, so Granny's going to get an upgrade. The similar to what Jelaine was talking about, the old trailer that we had here many years ago for the driver's lounge. Granny's is in a very similar type of situation, so she'll get upgraded, and Granny's customers will be able to continue to enjoy their wonderful food, and it'll be in a nicer environment. So that'll be exciting.
That is exciting.
Let's see. So, we there's a question here in regards to the Transflow app. I was out there, and then a group of us sat down and sort of re-engineered and talked about all these great things we're going to do to the app. And of course, we can't just wave a magic wand and have them all done. Specifically, one question here is getting rid of needing to put in the trip number when you do the empty call. There that and a whole host of things. Or actually, this is Bob's spreadsheet. There's the camera. There's two cameras, Warren, I guess. But anyway, there's a whole list of things that Bob and his team are working on with the folks at Transflow to continue to make this product even better and more efficient and so forth. It looks like a lot of things, Bob, are going into effect February and March, most of them, it looks like.
Right, yeah, February and March, we'll get a lot of the items when you're in the app, and if you go into the communication tab, all of those things that we used to call macros are all going to get moved over to driver services and have that ticketing system we talked about last week. So our goal is to have those done completed by the end of March, and we'll advise you as we're moving those, so it's not a surprise. But that specific enhancement that Brad mentioned about auto-populating forms and things, we're working with the software company to get that done. To be very frank with you, that's been a little slower than we would like, but we've been spending a lot of time tweaking and perfecting some of just the mechanicals of the app. And those of you that have been with us for at least a year, a year ago that the app was, in particular the tablet app, was not what it is today. And so we've still got a little bit more work to do in that area. And that includes some tweaks with Copilot, specifically on the phones, like we talked about earlier. So, but those, rest assured, these auto-population things, our goal is to auto-populate the truck number, your driver code, bill of lading number, everything we can pre-populate that's possible for us to know ahead of time. We're going to get that pre-populated into the form. So the only things you've got to key in are things that we just don't know. And yeah, so that's the goal. We're really trying to look at it through your eyes, and your feedback is huge in that area.
Yeah, and this list and these enhancements largely came from our drivers. We had a group of drivers that sat down with Bob's team and myself, and we came up with some really neat changes that will make a very, very good product, a great product here in the near future. So, good. Let's see, another question I had was about the new international trucks coming in. So there were some discussion, hey, we're getting rid of the internationals, we're bringing in Freightliners. That's not the case. We are bringing in a ton of Freightliners. We've got about 1,100 on order this year, and we've got 400 internationals on order. Those internationals are going to be coming in March through July, and they will have the Cummins X15 engine in it, and all of the trucks coming in going forward will have dual tires and the diesel-powered carrier APU units in them. So that's sort of the update on that. The new Freightliners, the next batch of new Freightliners is going to start arriving next week, February 8th. And so we'll have 1,100 Freightliners coming in between, between February and October, I believe.
It's going to be a flood of trucks. Wow.
That's a lot of trucks.
A lot of trucks.
A lot of trucks, yeah. Now all the trucks are, to make it easier to bring them into service, all the trucks are coming fully prepared. We're having what's called a mod center near the factory, do everything to the trucks, including putting the geotab devices in them, so we can free up our mechanics for working on the existing trucks that are in the fleet and preparing the used trucks that we're taking out of the fleet to be able to trade those back in.
Will those all be coming to East Dubuque, or are they going to be distributed around?
They'll be distributed around. Kansas City is probably going to be not right away, but once that facility comes online, we're envisioning Kansas City being a pretty good location for bringing trucks and trailers in and out of service. But yeah, Denton, Monmouth, East Dubuque, we'll spread it around. So with that much equipment, there's plenty of work for. Excuse me. Wow. Jelaine made it.
I gave him a lot of jalapenos in
Holy
the salad
smokes.
today, so sorry about that.
Yeah. Dying
So
over here.
what I was going to note is in our Kansas City, we'll make sure that we have the transport platform to make it easier to get in and out. I know Denton is a little too tight. I don't think we are able to have
I just
that
wrote that down here.
transportation platform in Denton. It's just it's too
tight.
small. Yeah.
I guess one of the things on Denton that I should have mentioned wasn't on my list to give an update on, but I should have. The Denton Terminal. So we have purchased land literally across the street from the Denton Terminal. There's a 80-acre parcel of land. So instead of turning right to go into our terminal, if you look to the left over there, there's all this open land. So we're not going to put in an 80-acre facility, but we are going to take 30 of the 80 acres and develop that and put in a new terminal there for Jason
exciting.
Sherman and his team,
Very exciting.
which will have a lot more space to park equipment, which is the challenge that we have there today. That'll also have our facilities, in the future, we want all of our facilities to have drive-through wash bays. We think there's an opportunity to keep our equipment looking clean and save some money out there by not giving it all to the blue beacons out there. So as we eventually get the facilities that make sense for us, we'll make sure that they've got those amenities. And so we just had a zoning meeting. I guess the one good lawyer out there, Brian, he was in the zoning meeting earlier this week, and it all looks very favorable. Surprisingly, you hear about Texas being such a friendly state to do business in. The Denton area, they're a little tough. They do a good job. I think they're just trying to make sure that they do things the right way, but and things are also kind of slowed down with COVID and so forth on the approval process. So that's taken a little bit longer than what we expected, but it looks like we're going to get the green light here pretty soon, and hopefully once we get the green light, we've already got the plans all done, and hopefully we can get that done in the course of a year. And in 2022, we have a new Denton facility.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
Can't
yeah.
wait for that property.
Good stuff.
Lots of stuff.
It's a great location.
Yeah, just keep spending money. Along those lines, help us save money. So don't have accidents. Conserve your fuel. Don't ignore any. Do your pre-trip inspections. Make sure that if you got. Don't ignore a problem. Check your air pressure. All those sort of things just waste our money as an organization, and the more money the company makes, the more we can share with everyone. So, please conserve those valuable resources. What else? Anything else?
I had a question. I'm not sure if you guys talked about this last week, but the truck colors, did you go over those at all?
Have not, no. Yeah, let's talk about it. That's a good topic. We're bringing orange back.
I like the orange.
It's going to be a little lighter orange, a little bit. If you notice the burnt orange we got, which I love, is it's a little bit different than the Hirschbach orange.
Mhm.
So the new orange will be a little bit more of the Hirschbach orange, but we're going to have a variety of colors. We're going to have orange. We're going to have the black. We're going to have a silver. And then we got sort of a charcoal in between that's really cool.
Gunsmoke. That one's my favorite. It's like
Gunsmoke.
the dark gray charcoal looking. That one's my favorite.
We'll have some red, so a variety of them, and they all complement the really cool new, logo, a graffiti logo that's on the trailers. And, the new trailers that started coming in, I guess in 2019, all had the new cool logo on them.
The graphic across the back.
Yeah. You know anything about that logo, Jillian?
I love it.
Oh.
I'm pretty. Actually, I was going to ask. Somebody suggested having it trail farther across the door. Did we alter that?
We're
Might have to.
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
so we got all these new colors that we talked, variety of colors that complement this cool graphic on the trailer. And then Jelaine just started talking about the truck graphic. And so we've got sort of a new door sign that's on the new trucks that we've got on there, but we're going to have a little bit more flair to the graphic on the truck as well. And I'm told by Bianca, who's been spearheading that project and working with our partner friends at Gigantic here in Dubuque, I'm told that we're going to have something to look at today.
Oh, exciting.
Ooh.
So
Can't wait.
maybe if I check my phone, anyway, it might be on there. But
Let me send a quick text.
Cool.
I'll see what
so
I
we're
can
supposed to have something today. So yeah, to that point, we're going to sort of try and integrate and tie together a graffiti graphic both on the truck that sort of connects to the trailer is the thought. So it's actually Jolene's thought, I think. But
Well,
We've
I
had some
saw
dr-
one of the trailers go by the other day. We don't see them that often, but boy, do they have just a great movement to them. It really catches your eye, and it just kind of fades in, and yeah, it's very striking. So I think, again, use those graphics and start those conversations at the truck stops, and people might, come up to you and, just note how cool they are, and use those to refer more great drivers to the company.
yeah, I guess along those lines, we've got some new business that, dedicated business that we're in the process of filling up. And so specifically, one of our fantastic customers, Tyson, they've expanded our dedicated fleet from 115 drivers to 165. And so we're in the process of filling that up. I think we've got 37 openings remaining, so I think 13 down, 37 to go.
37's the number, yeah. And each week we are adding more and more drivers, and our number one source of hires, the best hires I think that we have, come from our driver referrals. Our team out there does a tremendous job of sending us qualified people, and we're just going to keep sending them in. We appreciate every referral that you guys send in. Sometimes we can't hire them right now, but we might be able to hire them later. And so keep that funnel coming, and like Jillian said, showcase your truck and showcase the things that you love about Hirschbach when you're talking to other drivers about joining our team, joining our family.
Yeah. So help us fill those slots. And I know that Chris has got a variety of openings as well. I think that we've got about 35 openings on the other dedicated fleets. Primarily, we got this new dedicated fleet in Conklin, New York.
Conklin, New York, yes.
That one is, and maybe the Maryland one as well. Are
Yep.
those the two biggest ones that we're looking to fill?
Those are the top two, and then we have the ones based out of kind of the Chicago area as well.
Yeah, okay.
So those are the main areas.
So help us find some dedicated drivers to fill up those roughly 70 openings that we've got there.
Absolutely. And I know we don't have a referral bonus for the trainees, but if you do have trainees that, you know people who want to get into the industry, or you know people who have a few months of experience and maybe want to have them come join us at Hirschbach with our new training program starting on February 15th. Brian,
Correct.
we're taking right away, we're taking people who have kind of some experience, but maybe not the 6 months that we require. So we're starting off with that group initially, and then we'll tailor into the other groups as well.
Correct, yep. We're looking for folks that are new to the industry by and large. Yeah, not looking necessarily at the experience group. That has a separate track. Really want those folks that are brand new to trucking. We can help them get a good start. And it's a great company to be at. It's a great place to be. Want them to come here and become the next million miler.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and as far as there's really no cost. It's a very expensive, it's expensive to train someone.
Yes.
But if we get a good driver that's going to be safe and be with us, they'll have their tuition forgiven, basically. So
Correct.
I think it's about a 2-year process. Is that correct, to have it forgiven?
It takes some time. It's about, right now, it's set up on 9 months.
9 months, okay.
That they can be on the other side of that, yeah.
Okay.
And historically, anybody that makes it to that point, they usually are years in the industry.
Okay,
Years in the industry.
good. Well, any other topics, folks, before we conclude?
Maybe, Brad, maybe a quick mention of the weather this weekend?
Yeah, I know we've got another storm that's coming through the Midwest and going out across the Ohio Valley and into the East Coast. And it's not quite as big as the last one that came through this week. But, talking earlier with Brian, and in some cases, this one, we did very well through this last storm. So first of all, great job, everyone, and thank you for making safety a value and doing the right things out there. This storm, we were talking before, maybe because it's only might be a few inches of snow versus a foot of snow or something like that. Maybe some drivers might think that because it's less snow that it's okay, and so I just caution you, be very, very aware of the current conditions and be aware of what you're going into, and make sure that you're not taking an unnecessary risk out there. And particularly when you start getting into at night, when the sun's going down and you can't see the road quite as well, and it gets colder, and it was melting during the day and black
Right.
ice and so forth, I'd really caution everyone to be extra cautious at night.
It's good advice.
All right,
And,
good.
and that'll be a part of this spring. Melts during the day, freezes overnight, you hit it in the off hours, it can cause all kinds of challenges for you that you don't need.
And I guess the other thing I'd reemphasize, we've been talking about the Safe 6 and our All Into Zero program, and we've been training the new drivers on that since October, and now we're starting to train the existing drivers that have been here beforehand. But again, I want to reemphasize making sure that you're not allowing distractions to creep in. 7 seconds is the Hirschbach following distance expectation. We've got our eyes well out, and we're looking miles ahead, not feet ahead. And we do those things, we won't encounter surprises, and we never want to encounter obviously any of those surprises. But when we're dealing with weather conditions, it's even more important that we're doing the basics the right way.
Absolutely. Ready for another road trip whenever you are.
Yeah. See, I learned a bit, didn't I?
Yeah, you did well.
Yeah.
You did very well.
We might need more 6 feet.
Right.
We'll see
Sounds
how we're
like
doing.
Jelane's ready for me to get back on the road.
Just gonna say.
Well, I'll be out there pretty soon with them.
Yeah. Are you
Jelaine,
getting
are
your,
you're
getting
getting
your
your CDL?
license?
No, I
Oh.
mean, it's not on the books,
Yes.
but I will be. Yes,
Yes.
I
It's
will
a great
be.
experience.
Yes.
You can
Yeah.
come to Sioux City, so we're doing a class starting on the March 1st through the 19th, and so there's about 7 of us who are going through, and
Okay,
we're all getting
you
our
are?
CDLs. Mhm.
Fabulous.
We're study every day on my
Yep.
calendar from noon to 1. We study every day to get our CDL.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll
or
get it
you
on my
could-
calendar.
You could join us in Dubuque. We have a CDL program.
Yeah.
You bet. We'd love
Maybe
to
I'll
have
be
you.
in your first class.
Absolutely.
All right, sounds
Love
good.
to have you. You bet.
All right, we'll get that on my calendar.
Yes,
Great.
absolutely.
All right, well, we'll wrap
Looks
things
ready.
up.
All right, good to
thanks,
see
everyone.
everybody. Take
Thank you.
care of
Thanks,
everybody
Have a
out
great
there.
weekend. We'll
Thank
see you next
Be
week.
safe.
Bye now.